Well, they say all good things come to an end, but I don't think any single Newcastle fan in this stadium expected this winning run to come to an end like that. Alexa, Define, absolutely outplayed in every department. Speechless. The Bournemouth match folks coming up, Newcastle fans, so do us a favour, if you really want to after that result, and stick around. Match day, Newcastle fans, and I doubt there is one single Newcastle fan on this planet who has not got a spring in their step. And I know for a lot of you overseas fans, some parts of the world, these half-12 kickoffs are absolutely lovely jubbly. I know in Australia you get to have a decent drink, a decent sup. So any Australian fans that are watching, enjoy. Do you know what? I don't mind the half-12 kickoffs. You know, you've still got a bit of your day left. You can have a couple of pints. You can be back in the house. Nice early night. Yeah. Famous last words. But anyway, Newcastle fans, welcome back to Black White Banter. Here we go. And what I want to start on, it is kind of a start, but I'll keep that for the good stuff when that lovely tune kicks in. What I want to talk about today is the fact, and you pinch yourself a little bit, if Newcastle United win the football match today, in a match we are probably expected to win, I'll get onto that in a second, we will win 10 consecutive matches in all competitions for the first ever time in this club's history. 1892, before colour TVs, before bloody iPhones and televisions and cars that actually had motors in them. Literally Victorian times, it feels like. It's never been done before. Not by Kevin Keegan, not by Sir Bobby Robson, not by the FA Cup winners of 1955, not by the Fairs Cup winners of 1969. The Joe Harveys, you name it, it has not been done before. So we might today be witnessing history, and that needs talking about, because that is a pinch me moment. And I said on my last video at the end of Wolves that yes, we've been through rough patches. What management and what team and what project doesn't? And that'll continue, that'll happen. This run's not going to last forever. But sometimes you just have to pinch yourself and ask yourself, is this one of the greatest groups of players I've ever seen in Newcastle shirts? The togetherness, the bond that they have, how they wait back. I saw a video on YouTube saying how Newcastle seems very unique, how they always get applauded off. Unlike anything I've ever remembered. And we just have to enjoy them, because, you know, Bruno will get older, Joe Linton will get older, Isak, Arsenal can keep dreaming. But my God, this is something special that we're witnessing. And will we win the football match today? Maybe. Bournemouth have not lost a game since late November, 23rd of November, if my memory serves me correctly. They are no mugs. They are 8th in the table, and you could maybe say they are one of the surprise packages of the Premier League this season. But they're bigger players I fancy our players against. Your Semenyo against Lewis Hall, well, that kid probably is getting drug tested as we speak before this match by the Premier League, because he has been that good. So of course I'm fancying us, but it feels almost like the old woman off Titanic when you try and think back to when this winning run actually started.
It's been 84 years.
84 years. That's what it feels like. So I can relate to that lady and that classic scene. But yeah, look, let's get into today's action. Look, against Wolves on Wednesday, as I said on my match blog, if you haven't already watched it, you probably won't want to watch it by the time you're watching this one. But I did say on that, look, we didn't pull up any trees. It was a really weird match. Wolves should have come away with at least a goal. At least a goal. But we were just better than them. We were more clinical with Alexander Isak, who is going after records himself. We'll touch on that in a second. And it's a match today where they're much better than Wolves, Bournemouth, I think, without a doubt. But we will be able to match them in midfield, because I don't think there's any teams in the Premier League who can match us in midfield at the moment, because we have the best in energy, in balance, in pass and finesse, in Sandro Tonali running at the last minute, in Bruno, in his creativity. Look at that assist he got for Isak on Wednesday. That's where we win this football match, and everything else takes care of itself. We need good games from the full-backs, because they do have pace. Half 12, let's get into them. Let's see whether we can make a historical 10 in a row. And then we've got Southampton next week. And that's a game you really want to win. So this would set us up nicely. We really need to take advantage of these opportunities, because our fixtures, Newcastle fans, do get tougher. Man City, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool, all in a little window in February. So let's tick off these matches we should, and I emphasise the word should, win, and go from there. Anyway, let's get in. As I was just saying, it was coming. You knew it was coming. Let's get into some lovely little black and white banter. Stats.
Stats.
Forget about Real Madrid Barcelona. That one's naff. The real game is Ed Howe Classical. See what I did there? See what I did there? Did you see what I did there? You did. You did. Yeah, I thought it was funny. Maybe not. Yes, this is the Eddie Howe appreciation match. It almost feels like an Eddie Howe testimonial. Amazing things he did for Bournemouth that will never be forgotten. I think their fans will always absolutely adore the ground he walks on. And for large spells of his job here, I'm exactly the same. But in this match, when he's managed both teams, he's never been on the winning side. What a weird statistic. 13 matches managed. And when he's been in the Newcastle job, he's never won one of them. So he's still yet to beat his old club as Newcastle manager. So when Eddie Howe is involved in this match, he's never on the winning side. So let's put that -1 to bed in Ed Howe Classico. Said it one more time just because I thought it was really funny.
So let's put that -1 to bed in Ed Howe Classico.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
12:30 kickoffs, they split opinion. Jurgen Klopp, if you're watching this, I really hope you aren't. You're probably in Red Bull somewhere lapping up millions and millions of German currency. Everything was made about how they could have got so many. Our record, people say never back the early kickoff. I'm saying, do you know what, with Newcastle, back the early kickoff. Famous last words.
Famous last words.
Oh no!
Our last 6 12:30 kickoffs, we've won 4 and drawn 2 and lost 0. Compare that to the previous 6, we didn't win any. We lost 4 and drew 2. So a nice little lunchtime match with a little bit less time to drink, maybe less time for the players to get some scran in. Hasn't been doing us so badly. Up the 12:30 kickoff, Mags. There's a protest going on behind me, I believe. Don't know what it's about. I think they're protesting about Alexander Isak and how unfair it is that he plays for Eddie Howe's Mags and he's scoring so many goals. Not sure about that though, maybe. Anyway, I'm going to get the stadium. I need me pre-match Red Bull. Let's get into these today and let's make history. Oh yeah, lads! Might just grab a sign and join in. Start chanting Alexander Isak or something. Stopping me getting to the stadium.
Consider it arsehole!
Was on the 9th of June 1862 or so. My the tour was from Margaret and she was heavy laden. Where we went
Half time, that was really, really off it. That was not Newcastle. You know, you set a standard when you're winning all these matches. We're not asking too much when we say that should be a bit better. Bournemouth, fair play to them, much better side, deserve to be winning, really up for it. Loads of pace in attack, which has caused us problems. We haven't really been very pressing. I don't know whether that's Eddie Howe trying to hold back because of that pace, but it's not working. Midfielders on the go, and they've smothered Bruno, they've smothered him. And when Bruno is normally quiet, Newcastle from an attacking point of view normally, I don't think Isak's even playing. Really need to improve in the second half. I thought the goals we conceded were sloppy. Defence has been sloppy. Even Lewis Hall hasn't been playing well in that first half. Needs to get better. We don't have that many options off the bench now. The Barnes is injured, but something's got to change. Do you swap Bruno, drop him deeper and push Sandro on because he's getting man-marked? I don't know. Fingers crossed we can pull this one back, but so far it's not looking good. Here, lads. Not the Saturday afternoon any of us had planned. The weather might be nice, but that's the only thing that's nice in Newcastle right now. Joined by Lee, haven't seen you for a while. Sum that one up. We've just tried to, before we jumped on this video, sum that up as best you can.
I mean, we were just outplayed to a man. They were just way better than us. We never really got out of second gear. Not even got out of first gear.
I don't think there was any gears. We were driving without them. I
They
think,
pressed
today.
us hard. We struggled to break through that press at any point. So people were just playing daft passes, giving the ball away. They were technically superior on the ball.
Yeah.
They upset our players. They really upset the crowd. They
Yeah.
slowed the game down when they need to. They were brilliant. Everything that we weren't today, really.
Yeah, we're just talking. We've got Southampton and Fulham next before that ginormous Carabao Cup semi-final second leg. How much do we just brush this one? Like, are you worried, or do you think Southampton we just go again and we get back to normal energy levels as well as anything else?
Look, I mean, a few people in the crowd were going, "Oh, I can't believe we're getting beat by Bournemouth." Bournemouth are a good team.
No mugs.
They are a decent team. They've shown that, and as you said, unbeaten in 9. So, yeah, the nature of the defeat's very disappointing. But they've just got to have tomorrow off and then come in on Monday, clear their heads. They've got a week to prepare for the next game, which helps. Freshen up a few players. And
In a match that we really should win next week.
yeah, going away at the bottom of the league team. I mean,
Yeah.
if we can't win that, then
We don't deserve to be
We
up
don't
there.
deserve
This
to be
Champions
Champions
League
League.
talk. Neil, I'll start with you, Gordy, because you're holding that lovely microphone. Try and sum up what was one of the worst, probably, days of the season, I'd say. It's fair to say, today.
Like, I don't normally come out, like, when we get beat, I get on with it. But
Yeah.
I'm quite angry today, though.
Yeah,
Like,
it's fair enough. Angry why, though, would be my
it's
first
like,
question.
Just like little things, like the players go to the fans, "Oh, come on, come on." The fans give more than the players do. Like, they're going, "Oh, come on, fans, let's get it, come on, come on." And then the fans have been singing they were getting beat 4-1, the fans were still singing away.
The main reason you felt like we got beat today?
First of all, I think they out-tacticked us. I think
Yeah,
I think
that's
they were
fair.
brilliant.
We were
But-
talking about that at half time, to be
Yeah.
fair.
But we didn't turn up, did we? There
No.
was too many players not giving enough effort, and the passes were wayward. And what, 3 of the goals came from our mistakes? It's not good enough, is it?
I've been joined by 2 familiar faces, Andy and Cheryl. First and foremost, before we get into the football, please tell me how far you've travelled. You've been over for the Bromley game, the Wolves game, and unfortunately today's game. So tell me how far you've travelled over for these matches.
We've came from Dallas, Texas.
Right, how many hours is that?
It's a 9-hour flight from Dallas to Heathrow, then an hour flight from Heathrow to Newcastle.
Long way to watch Eddie Howe's mags.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 2 out of 3. Andy, I'll start with you. Very quickly, like I say, you've seen us win comfortably on Wednesday. Was comfortably in scoreline. Bromley, professional performance. What went wrong today?
What went wrong?
Is it because you were here?
It was. I cursed the team. I apologize, everyone in Newcastle. It's my fault. I'm the curse
There you
of
go.
Dallas. From what I saw, it was basically bad passes, a lot of giveaways.
Sluggish. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier.
The pressing wasn't there that I've seen in the past. It was just like, to me, it was the length of how many games in a week has played their toll on the team. But also, got to give credit to Bournemouth.
Who also played on Wednesday. They also played on Wednesday.
Also on Wednesday. They played great.
Yeah.
They were very crisp, very sharp. I got to give them credit.
Yeah.
We just did not play well.
Yeah. Over in Dallas, where do you normally watch games?
We watch games at the Londoner in Addison.
Right. How many of you normally meet up for that?
Typically, on a normal day, it's between 10 and 20, and then we can get up to 40.
Nice.
So,
I love to
yeah,
hear that. I'm hoping for a Newcastle pre-season tour in America again this year.
Outstanding. Now the youth team is coming to Dallas for the Dallas Cup.
There you go. Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic that's going to happen this year. I'm already looking at flights, different places. Anyway, same sort of question. Not the result you wanted today. You have seen some wins, which I always want. If you were just coming over for the one game, that would break my heart. Same sort of sentiments.
We just never got out of the traps. I mean, from minute 1, it was just they just didn't seem themselves. And of course, this is Eddie Howe's bogey team.
Yeah.
He has not won against Bournemouth, and I mean that's going to have to.
I'm going to
change
send that one
eventually.
further. He's never won this fixture for Bournemouth or Newcastle. He has never been on the winning side in this fixture.
Okay, well there you go.
So even more of a mad stat.
Yeah, so that's got to change eventually.
It will. I'm sure it will. But still feeling in good spirits despite that.
Absolutely, it's been a fantastic trip. Wednesday night was absolutely amazing.
You said one of the best atmospheres you've been a part of.
Yeah.
Which is lovely to hear. That's what I want to hear when you travel all this way.
Yeah.
How many Gregs have we had in your time here? Have we
so far
touched?
2.
What were the choices? I'm always curious.
We've got 4 more days. We had a sausage roll.
Got
Obviously,
to. Standard.
And, the all-day breakfast baguette.
You did. That was more of a quirky choice. Wow. As I said at the start of this video, all good things we told come to an end. My God, does that define that coming to an end and then some? Where do we unravel that? Where do we begin to unravel that? Well, I just want to start this by saying nobody expected that. The Bournemouth fans travelling for the 8-9 hours, my God, are they going to have a more satisfying long journey home through till midnight? Nobody expected that. The pundits didn't. And we do take a result like that with a pinch of salt to some degree because of the 9 wins in a row, because we've won more football matches than I can ever remember back-to-back in my lifetime. I think the stats would suggest it's never been in my lifetime. But there's a manner, as I think Neil just said when I was speaking to him there's a manner to lose a football match and bow out from a back-to-back record like that, and that certainly wasn't it. If I was to ask my Alexa to define outclassed in every department, it would be that match would come on the screen. The highlights of that match. From the very first whistle, we were not up for that at all. But I'll talk wider, then I'll talk about the match individually. We weren't. Passes were off. Energy was not there. Someone said to me at half time, they thought Eddie Howe had maybe told the players to ask them not to press. I don't believe that for a second. We play well against teams that play similar to us at times, because that space is open up there and we back ourselves. And we do have one of the best midfields in the Premier League on any other day, may I just add. But we were just outclassed. We were outclassed from the first whistle, and that press that we love to see, I think it would have caused Bournemouth more problems, but it wasn't there. I'm not going to play the card of these players have had lots of matches in a week, because they didn't play on Sunday, 9 of them. But Wednesday to Saturday, Wednesday wasn't very good. So is there a wider bit of concern there? I think maybe there is, because Wednesday, as much as we won 3-0, they could have scored 1, 2, 3 goals, Wolves, if they had more clinical players on the pitch. So that's the wider problem. But today we were just not at it all at all. We didn't test Kepa in the goal at all. Bruno was quiet. So many players were quiet. But, first half, we started slow. I wasn't too worried, because we also started the game slow against Wolves. But Bournemouth, from the very first whistle, looked like they were up for it, causing problems. And what I very quickly realised from a tactical point of view is that they doubled up and they swarmed Bruno. I don't think he was used to that. I don't think many players from the Newcastle team or the Bournemouth team were. It was just really strange to see. And when Bruno statistically is not quite up for it and not playing well, Newcastle normally don't play well, and that did in the first half. That freed up Joe Linton. They did not put anyone on Joe Linton as much as they did Bruno. And I don't think Joe Linton was cutting the mustard in the final third. He was getting on the ball. He was giving us that aggressive energy that we see so much. But he wasn't really affecting the game as well as he could be. And just like every other player on the pitch, he was sloppy in his passing and he was sloppy with the ball. So I think tactically, to bring Bruno out of the game, what would worry me is any other team that's about to play Newcastle watching that might actually spot that and think, do you know what? That worked. We should maybe try that. Only player to come out of the first half with any credit for me was certainly Sandro Tonali. He made a couple of great defensive tidy ups. His energy was there that we saw against Wolves on Wednesday, and he was trying to make things happen. I thought our fullbacks were really sloppy. Dan Burn, 2 really, really poor giveaways across his own box. We were trying passes, we were putting our midfielders in trouble, and Bournemouth looked dangerous every time they came forward. And Lewis Hall, who I was talking about this was going to get drug tested, he might be getting drug tested in case he was on some ganja, some of the wacky-backy the night before, as so many players did, because he had an off day, and he's allowed an off day. Do you know what? Someone I'm not going to come into criticism for is him, because he's been impeccable all season. But when players like that are not playing well, and Alexander Isak is getting the most starved of service I've seen of him trying to go on that consecutive goal run, it was a worry. And we got back into the game, and Bruno, who'd been starved of everything, he pulls it back. after we conceded that first sloppy goal. Great header, job's a good one. Right, can we switch back on? Is that going to bring us to life? The goal didn't bring us to life at all. It really didn't. And then Bruno, to sum up his mixed half where he struggled to get involved in the game, he gives away a sloppy ball. He didn't want the pass in the first place. Another mistake of ours, another Bournemouth goal. Half time, beers are going down. What can we do? What options do we have off the bench, which probably is with Barnes injured is a bit of a concern, because Joe Willock is just not quite looking at the races. And the second half, unfortunately, I really thought it would be a chance for Eddie Howe to get into them and they'd come out differently, and the second half just started exactly the same. Brilliant goal by Clivert to make it 3-1, complete his hat-trick, and we were never coming back from there. Kepa was never tested in the second half. Eddie Howe tinkered a little bit. Obviously, Fabian Schär came on at half-time. He hasn't played for a couple of weeks now. He came on at half-time. He brought players into the match, and it just... Hey! I haven't heard much of that today, I tell you. He came into the game, and we weren't moving, we weren't shaking. Willock came on. I thought Willock was playing in a weird position down the right-hand side. Bruno got a little bit more involved, and until Anthony Gordon has one cleared off the line in the second half, there wasn't really much happening. Kepa probably had the quietest afternoon he's ever going to have. Player performances, individual performances. There's no one I'm going to shout about apart from Sandro Tonali, who I thought really didn't do too much wrong. He tried to get involved. He did mop us up defensively. He did have the energy that everybody else lacked. I thought the referee, honourable shout out to him, if I'm going to talk about individuals, was awful. He seemed to bottle sending off you like any player on the pitch, particularly Cook at right back. And I'll tell you what, one thing I will say is that, is anyone watching this video, Bournemouth with a better team, I'm not blaming the referee, is anyone watching this video going to tell me that they are happy with the standard of Premier League refereeing, generally speaking? Because he today had no control of the game, didn't get his yellow cards out even a quarter as much as he should have, and it was just an awful performance from him, in my opinion. Worrying performances for me, really offered performances today. I would probably say Lewis Hall, who got hooked, but I'm not going to talk about him too much. I thought defensively we were quite sloppy. I thought Jacob Murphy was non-existent. And I thought Anthony Gordon, we're still not seeing the Anthony Gordon we saw last season. He took a while to get into the game. He was a little bit better in the second half, but again, not really offering us what we need in a time when players like Gordon are needed to drag you up the pitch. Look, I've just asked the people I was speaking to there, are you worried? Do we just dust ourselves off? I think I'm not speechless from that. I have to just accept that we were not at the races in any department. Bournemouth were absolutely brilliant from the first whistle to the last. I thought they were pacey on the attack. That's something we need to think about, playing against pacier teams. They were better in midfield. They managed the game well, as frustrating as it was in terms of slowing it down. And, was it good enough from us? No, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that at all. We expect more from that group of players, and we know that that group of players will be hard on themselves in that dressing room because it wasn't good enough. But we go again at Southampton against the bottom team. We've got a Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg in a week and a half. Southampton home, Fulham away, Fulham at home. Winnable football matches, a week to get back in on the training ground, and we've just won 9 matches in a row. We didn't make history for the first time since 1892 in winning 10 in a row, but you know what, that run was always going to come to an end. I just think it should have come to an end in slightly less dramatic fashion than a 4-1 defeat at home, and Bournemouth will be clapping their hands because of the Newcastle team they came up against. Keep the faith, Newcastle fans. I think I'm going to dissect that one during the week a bit more tactically, because they really did put a job on us in so many departments. Drop down, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a little subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on that and where we go from here. And I'm just going to go and sink a beer and try and consume what I've just witnessed, which was not how I expected my Saturday afternoon to go. But as always, keep the faith. Hoya lads!